I guess it all started a couple of years ago really. I just finished university, I wanted to do a little bit of travelling. An opportunity come up to volunteer at a monkey conservation project in South Africa. So I just went for it, flew out to South Africa, and I had just an amazing time. I met people from all over the world, making loads of different friends. You know, I was part of a team who's helping to look after about 500 monkeys. We got to care for little baby orphans that come in and things like that, and just generally had an unforgettable experience. During my time in South Africa, I got to visit a lot of other wildlife conservation projects, caring for all different kinds of animals, which was really cool actually. But speaking to the people who work there and the people who own the wildlife sanctuaries and charities and things like that, I found that sadly they all had the same problem, which was pretty much they couldn't find enough volunteers to help them out, and also they couldn't get enough funding to help support the conservation work. And this was just a recurring theme everywhere that I visited, and I really wanted to do something to help. I also met a load of volunteers who were travelling, just like me, who were coming to these conservation projects from all over the world. But there were two different types of volunteers. You had the volunteers that had made their arrangements directly with the sanctuary. They'd emailed the owner of the project or whatever and asked them if they could come and stay. And then you also had the volunteers who would come through a volunteering organisation. Now the problem was, those that were coming through the volunteering organisations were paying something like 3 or 4 times as much as those that had contacted the projects directly. So you can imagine it caused quite a lot of tension at the projects when half the volunteers had paid 3 times as much as the other half. So I got back to England, started doing a bit of research on the internet about how people were finding these volunteer opportunities, and I basically discovered that it's pretty much next to impossible to find a place to volunteer, and the only things that you can find on the internet really are opportunities through organisations which are really expensive. So this situation, it's not good for the volunteers who want to help, and it's also not good for the projects who need the volunteers. So I set off on another trip. I wanted to speak to more project owners and more volunteers and see what the situation was like in other parts of the world. This time I went to South America, a few different countries there. Spent a few months in the Amazon, visiting loads of different places, that was really cool experience. And yeah, exact same situation. Projects struggling to find volunteers and funding, and volunteers struggling to find opportunities. So after a few months in South America, I returned to England, unfortunately, and I decided it was time that I wanted to do something about it. I knew that I couldn't help all these wildlife projects and volunteers all by myself. So working with travellers, like-minded people, and the conservation projects themselves, together we founded the Wild Web. A website where volunteers can come on, they can search for whatever country they want to volunteer in, what animal they want to work with, and then just, browse through all the volunteer projects. And then contact them directly so that they know the volunteer projects are getting 100% of the volunteering fees, and also the volunteers don't have to pay expensive amounts to third-party organisations. All that we ask in return is that if you're volunteering at one of our projects, you subscribe to our website. It's a minimal amount. It just means we can maintain our website and provide you with support whilst you're volunteering. So in short, what we're doing is we're supporting wildlife conservation by helping ethical wildlife projects from all over the world find more volunteers, find more funding, so that they can keep doing their good work and keep helping out all of these animals. We'd love for you to join us to support one of our conservation projects, whether it's with dolphins or sharks or elephants, monkeys, cats, dogs, whatever animal you want to help. I just think if we all pitch in a little bit, we can support animals all over the world who need us. Thank you.